Hello and welcome. This is Dawn Colby, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Durham, North Carolina. A website at dawnsearlyinkings.com. So tonight I thought we would make this card. The card uses the Peaceful Deer stamp set, which is in the mini catalog. It uses the Deer Builder Punch. It's a bundle, so when you buy them together, they're 10% off. Also I used the Christmas to Remember stamp set for that greeting, but you could use one from the Peaceful Deer. And I also used this stamp set basically for the holly leaves. Yes, right there. And then I used a few die sets, but again, also dies that you might be able to just do other things. So I used the rectangle from the Stitched Rectangles die set. I used the fourth largest one, to cut out my rectangle in the middle there. There's that. I used the Christmas Cheer set, and that was to cut out the holly leaves as well as the holly berries. I used this die from the stamps from the die set, and I'll talk about that a little more later. Because there's a different option you can use for the holly berries. And then the other thing I used, other die set I used was the Seasonal Labels dies, which I'm not using the stamp set tonight. I think you can see that okay. Alright. Using tonight is from the Celebration catalog, and it is on page 8 and 9. It is this Peaceful Prince designer series paper. The paper is free with a purchase of $50 from either the mini catalog or the annual catalog. So any, $50 product purchase, you can select this as your free item, or you can select any of the $50 items with a $50 purchase. Or if you make a $100 purchase, you can choose one of the $100 items, or you can choose two $50 items. Yes. Also, just point out real quick, the host set is here. With any $300 group workshop host order, you get that stamp set for free. And of course, the best deal of all is joining Stampin' Up. It's $99 for the starter kit. There's no shipping. You get to pick $125 worth of product, and also during celebration, you get the choice of one of these bundles, and in fact the Peaceful Deer is one of those bundles. So if you wanted to pick up the bundle, if you don't have it, and you think you're going to spend over $100, this really is the best route to go. And if you have any questions about that, my email is dawnsearlyinkings@gmail.com. I'll be glad to talk to you about this. If you decide that you sign up, get the starter kit, and you don't want to do videos, you don't want to have a blog, that's fine. You can stay on for the discount, or you can drop and just become a customer again. There really is no there's no pressure, nothing. So I'm just putting it out there. So okay, well, let's get started. If you could, as we're going through, if you guys find some content that you like, if you like the card or anything, feel free to comment. If there's something you don't like, I take constructive criticism pretty well. I would appreciate no nastiness. But hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I try to do this every week. So far, so good. I know life sometimes gets in the way, but that's my goal, is to have one blog post / video per month. Okay, I'm gonna put that away as well. First thing is the DSP. And this is the DSP. And I have already, I'm going to move this out of the picture. I have, for just time's sake, I've already die cut the rectangle out of this. This is a 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and all the measurements and everything will be on my blog. And then I used the 4th largest rectangle, stitched rectangle die to cut that out. So this is the part we're going to keep, and I didn't measure, I kind of eyeballed, so yeah, I guess there's a little skinnier on that end than on that end, but you really, I don't think you'll notice that much when the card's done. If you want to measure before you die cut, you're welcome to. I just chose not to. And the sad thing is, I really like that side of the paper, so I may have to get another pack, which means ordering another $50 in product. But, you know, we sometimes have to suffer that way. But I'm going to use this little cutout rectangle for another project. All right. So we're going to stick that off to the side, the rectangle. We don't need that yet. So what we're going to start with is our basic white card front layer. And this is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And the first thing I'm going to do is take, and I'm going to sponge with Coastal Cabana over most of the card front. Okay. So I'm just going to take, and I'm going to go lightly. I'm not going to go crazy, go bananas. It's most of the reason why I'm sponging the Coastal Cabana is so that you can see the snowflakes in the background of the card once it's done. And just kind of put a little bit of a snowy sky on the background. I did the first card and it was just a white background and it just, something was missing. And so I decided to sponge the Coastal Cabana on in the background, and I think it just adds a certain je ne sais quoi. So here we go. I think that's probably good. You're not going to see the edges anyway, because the edges are going to be behind the plaid. So, okay, so that's it for the Coastal Cabana, and that's it for the blending brush. So the next thing we're going to do is to stamp our trees, and we're going to use the Garden Green ink to do that. All right. And let me pull in, oh, where is it? Here it is. My Stampin' Pierce mat. I've just got a piece of grid paper from one of our Stampin' Up meetings over it, just to protect it. So I'm just going to stamp this big tree. And like that. Let me try that again. And like that. Okay. All right, so now with this littler cluster of 3, I am going to do some stamping off. So I'm going to do like that, and maybe like that, and then that, and then like that, and then just stamp off. Okay, and I don't know what I did there. This is my little adhesive that's not adhesive. Okay, let's try my sand eraser. I'm sure I can stamp a snowflake over that probably. Oh, you know what? I don't know if you see that, but it actually created a small white circle where or I tried to get that off. So, in any event. Okay. No perfection today. We are just going to stamp the card. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do some heat embossing. So I'm going to take my embossing buddy, which, alas, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell anymore. I understand you can use a dryer sheet or a Swiffer cloth if you don't have one of these, or you can get one. Probably Amazon has them. Online retailers probably will carry them as well. All right, so now I'm going to take, let's see, take this off of this block. So I've got the snowflake stamp from the stamp set. And where did I put my Versamark pad? Here it is. Okay. And this is a little tough. You won't be able to probably see this on the camera. But I am going to try to stamp it so I don't overlap anything as far as where I've already stamped. I should have probably moved that around earlier. And I can kind of see where I've stamped. There's a kind of a little bit of a glare. Okay. Hopefully I didn't. Again, this is different than stamping for yourself. I'm stamping for myself, but I'm stamping for you guys too. Okay, I'm going to take a piece of my small grid paper. This grid paper is the paper that we use in our Stamparatus. And if you don't have the Stamparatus or the little grid paper, both are a good thing to have. But this little grid paper, I've noticed, is really good when you're doing heat embossing. It's easy. It allows you to easily funnel the embossing powder back into your jar. And this is the white embossing powder, and it is available in the in basic embossing powder pack. This is powder I've had, so I don't have that pack, but there's 3 small jars, and really quite handy. Now, how did I do that? All right. So now we get to see some, actually, let me I'm going to get that in there. See how easy? Well, you probably didn't because I think I was off camera, but I basically funneled all of my powder back into my jar using that little piece of grid paper. But I don't know if you can see it. I think you probably can, but I got this line here of embossing powder that I'm not sure. Probably was the edge. Probably was the edge of the easy for me to say. The edge of the block that I probably messed up with. So all I'm going to do is take I think that's good. All right. And that's actually one of my good paint brushes, so I probably shouldn't use that one, but I wiped it off. Okay. So now I'm going to warm up my embossing gun for a minute, or, well, not a minute, several seconds, just so it gets a little warm. And I'm going to move that out of the way. Feel safe picking it up from the bottom because there's no embossing on the bottom. You see how it becomes shiny? And I'm sorry. I'm hoping that most of you know what I'm talking about, and I apologize if you don't, if you're a beginner. I try to face these for most everybody, so again, my apologies if you don't understand something. At some point, I'd like to do a live, so that people can ask questions while I'm on, but I'm just not there yet. Okay, looks done. The finger's a little burnt, and I think, yeah, I think we'll be okay with that spot that's there. So there's our nice little snowflakes. That's awesome. Looking for my deer. Deer. So we're going to take and stamp this in black. This is crumb cake cardstock. And it's just a scrap. Just big enough to stamp out the deer. So I'm going to just stamp that down. I'm going to take the punch, pardon my arm. Just line that up. Let me line it up here, then I'll show you. There we go. Get rid of the cat hair. And voila. No, I'm not going to start doing these videos in French. Even though I've said a few French words tonight. Okay, so there's the deer. I'm going to take a scrap piece of early espresso, and I'm just going to punch out the antlers, because that's all we need from this color. And the nice part is there's no stamping. I mean, I'd like stamping, but in this case, it's easy. Okay. So I'm going to grab my silicone craft sheet here, and I'm going to take my liquid glue. Yeah. And that's backwards. I think they go the other way. At least that's how I did it on my other card. Okay. So I'm going to take, and it's going to try to be a little dot. Not a big dot. Take a little bit of that big dot and put it on the little dot. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do is stick this pardon if my head's in the way. And I'm just going to there we go. I'm just going to put my finger on it for a few seconds just to kind of hold it down, just to get it. All right. And so it doesn't look funny, I'm going to take my Stampin' Write chalk marker and I'm going to put dots on my deer. I guess I could stamp and heat emboss on my deer, but I thought that might look a little funny. So we'll just make him look like he's got white chicken pox or something. And a little dot on his tail. Okay. These little white chalk markers are handy. They're also handy if you use your Stampin' Blends and color outside the line and need to make it, you're coloring on white cardstock. Sometimes you can use it to, if it's not a real deep red, sometimes you can cover your mistake. Shh. Just a little tip. Okay. So, let's go over my mini Stampin' Dimensionals. Did I put them away? They are right here. Okay. And my Take Your Pick tool. It's right here. So what I'm going to do is take a few of these and put them on the back. Let's see. I'm going to put one right there. I'll leave the rest of it without dimensionals. You probably could cut these in half and stick more down. Okay, so here's where I bring this in just for a minute, and I just kind of see where I want to put him, and there we go. Okay, so that was pretty easy. So far, so good. All right. So now we are going to attach this to the white layer. Keep this out. And I'm trying to tape just on the other side of the stitch. There we go. There we go. All right. Then we're going to take our red ribbon. We have the satin, the double stitch real red satin ribbon, and we're just going to cut enough off to put it to the back of the, around the back of the card before we adhere our garden green layer. So just going to take that. Take that. You can use Seal Plus if you want. You can use liquid glue. Okay. And now at this point, so we're going to adhere this to our garden green layer. Try to make it the same around every corner. And then at this point I always get adhesive on my fingers. Alright, so I was trying to tie a ribbon, but I'm actually going to just tie a knot. Because this ribbon, it's really nice ribbon, but it's harder to tie a bow. Especially when you have not a ton of room. Oh, that didn't go quite how I wanted it. Still didn't go the way I wanted it. Let's try one more time. Oh, okay. That's all right. We'll just, there. I do not have the ribbon tying mojo tonight. Now we're gonna do is, I'm gonna take, this is basic white thick cardstock. And we're just going to fold that over. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Make sure the card's right. Who hasn't done that before? Goodness. All right. The next thing we need to do is take a scrap of Whisper White, and using this 'Tis the Season stamp from the Christmas to Remember stamp set. And what we would do at this point is to take that die and die cut it out. However, through the magic of video, if I don't bend it, I've already done that for you. Just a few second time saver. All right, so we're going to do this again. Oops. One here, one here, one here, and one here. And then, whoops, I guess I got it off the bottom of the pack too. Okay. Off, off, off. I swear this works better with the regular size dimensionals as opposed to the mini ones. Now you could use regular dimensionals. I just didn't, since I had those out. Okay. All right, so we're almost done. Just a few more steps. The next step is to take the holly stamp from the Words of Cheer stamp set, and we're going to stamp those on scrap. We're going to use our garden green ink, so it's not going to be, it's going to be a darker color. We're just going to stamp that twice. Yeah. And then what I would say is normally we would use the die and cut it out. We would take this and cut it out. However, again, through the magic of video, we don't need to do that because I have already cut them out. All right, so we have our two. So again, mini dimensionals. Okay, I have a little trash can at the back of my table. That's why you keep seeing my hand go that way. I find it helps my floor a little bit if I have a little trash can on the table. And it also helps the cats to not get in my trash can and tip it over. My Josh was trying to be my helper earlier today, and yeah, that went well. He was sitting right here on my table, right beside me. I love my Josh, but he likes to help. Sometimes it's not helpful when he helps. Okay. Oops. All right, well, that's a little high, but I wanted to make a little bit different green because I thought there was too much garden green going on here. Sorry for waving my hands like that. So now, excuse me, this is the next to the last part. So I'm going to use the red rhinestones for the nose. Oops. That was coordinated. Oh, no. I did this on another one. I didn't get it on right. There we go. There we go. And then I also put one here and one here. Now, if you wanted to, up to you, you could also use these holly berries here, like I did on this. You could put them here instead of the cardstock that I used over here. However, there's two other options you have. Hi, Josh. Hi. Hi. Okay, where was I? Sorry, the cat interrupted. Oh yes. So there's this little dot right here. That's probably for the nose on the deer. Excuse me, you could stamp that out of railroad cardstock 6 times and get 6 dots and use them here. Again, you could use the red rhinestones there. Or this is the die from the Christmas cheer die set. And great, there were more in here than there are now. So let me just poke these out, the ones that are left. 2, I guess that's, oh, there's 2 there. 1 there. 1 there. One there. And 1 here. Okay, and they're all on the wrong, so most of them are on the wrong side. So I just felt like these scaled best to these holly leaves. So I'm going to move that out of the way and move this out of the way. All right. And I've got my, let's see, again, liquid glue. And I moved that out of the way, didn't I? All right. Okay, that's what I did not want. So I'm going to just do a tiny dot, tiny dot, tiny dot. Yeah, these tiny dot things are overrated, I think. Tiny dots. This would probably be a good place if you have the, this is the old pokey tool that Stampin' Up! Had. We don't sell it anymore because they have this, but I still have this one, so this is like doing kind of surgery. I actually have 2 take your pick tools, but the other one is somewhere else right now. I think it's in a drawer. Really shouldn't be. All right. So these have a curved, where they're die cut out, there's a curved top, and that's what I'm putting up. And I'm just using my other little pokey tool to take it off of the putty on the take your pick tool. That's all I'm doing. Let's see. Do not be ornery with me. All right, so now we're gonna do the other 3. Again, tiny. Yeah, I definitely think the fine tip glue pen would probably be a better option. I just don't happen to have that right now. Do not. But in case you guys don't have it either, this is what you can do. I'll be honest and tell you I'm glad there's only 6 of these because it's very tedious. And if you hear that noise, that's my cat. He is whining about something and he's coming to join us. Josh, please get off the table. Josh, come on, buddy. Get off the table, buddy. Nope, he's gonna settle in. Good thing we're almost done. All right, and that should dry clear. Josh, you don't fit in that box, bud. I hope you guys have out there have helpful pets that help you stamp. Oh, sometimes it's just, I don't know. All right. Probably what I'm going to do is I may just retie a different knot on that later. Those will dry. At this point, I haven't stamped anything on the inside, but I will probably do that. But these are the cards. Do I have I do. So this was the version I did at first with the bow. And I kind of like that version too. But I've done some others. This was a shaker card that I may or may not do for my Christmas cards. I don't know yet. Something's missing. I think it's the holly berries. And this was the very original card that I made with the seasonal label dies and just the trees and the deer. Very simple. So there's just some other iterations of my card that I made. So, in any event. So, well, I hope you like that. Thank you for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. Again, like and or subscribe if you would like to join me next time. Again, I usually post on Tuesdays. It's donsearlyinkings.com. I have a shop now link on my site where you can go to shop my Stampin' Up! Store. The blog post for this will have all of the supplies that I used in making the card. The August house code, again, tomorrow's the last day. If you place a $35 or more order with me, you will get the subtle shimmer sequins. Those will be sent to you separately. And that, I think, is about it. So thanks again. I hope you have a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.